and the actual idea of becoming an airline pilot.
Years old. That's the moment I decided to become a commercial pilot. Until now I was flying ultralights.
So my suggestion is to...
Es decir, hay una serie de cualidades que se requieren para ser piloto.
From zero to hero. Discover the complete process to become a professional pilot with the European Aviation School of Barcelona, an exciting path led by experts in each subject, instructors, active pilots, and students. From zero to ATPL license, we will reveal all the mysteries and answer all the questions. We will fly, learn, and enjoy the adventure.
Since I was a child, I want to become a pilot, and I used to say to my parents, I want to become a pilot, I want to become a pilot, and my parents thought that's something, that's kid things, no? And then I grow up and I continue to become a pilot, and that's why I decided to become a pilot, because I wish from I was a child.
Yo la verdad es que no lo decidí en ningún momento. Yo desde que era muy pequeño, no me preguntes por qué, me apasionaba la aviación, los aviones. A mí los sábados por la tarde me llevaban al aeropuerto. ¿Quieres ir al Tibidabo? ¿Quieres ir al parque de atracciones? No, no, quiero ir al aeropuerto.
I decided to become a pilot when I turned 30 years old. That's the moment I decided to become a commercial pilot. Until now I was flying ultralights, but I had some kind of 30-year-old crisis, and I decided that what I wanted to do in my life is to fly aircraft for a living.
Con apenas 6 o 7 años, mi primer vuelo fue en Barcelona, Palma, Mallorca, en un DC-6 de cuatrimotor, de motor de explosión. Recuerdo que bajé con un dolor de oídos tremendo, porque esos aviones ni están insonorizados ni presurizados probablemente, pero bajé enamorado de esto.
So I come from a small northern town in Sweden, where my daddy actually had a private pilot license. So that's how I got into it. He started training, and I was lucky enough to be able to come with him while he was training and help him out with flight planning and things like that.
Because I want to be an astronaut, and it's the first step in a way, because you know, aviation, maybe we soon will start flying over the orbit and everything, so you never know. So initially my general idea was this.
Mi historia es un poco extraña porque yo empecé a hacerme piloto un poquito tarde. Empecé con 27, 28 años. Anteriormente había hecho una carrera universitaria, hice ingeniería de telecomunicaciones y trabajé un año como ingeniero. Entonces, en mi familia no había nadie relacionado con aviación, era completamente una locura por mi parte. Bien, entonces era un sueño desde pequeño. Y a partir de ahí había trabajado ya desde muy pequeñito, tenía el dinero ahorrado y me decidí a hacerlo plenamente, a hacer el integrado además, el curso integrado.
More than 15 years ago, I did my first flight on a single-engine piston aircraft like the one I've just seen take off from Sabadell Airport. In this case, it was in an airport very near here, where they did a beautiful event of aeronautical divulgation called Aerosport. At this moment, this event is not done anymore, which is a pity, but I remember at that point I fell in love with aeronautics, aviation, and the actual idea of becoming an airline pilot. After that flight, it was clear to me I wanted to be a pilot. I needed to know how to do it, but I didn't have any information on how to do it, when, where, absolutely nothing. So I started figuring out and informing myself. After gathering a lot of information about how to become a pilot, when I knew I wanted to be one, I knew I had to come to the birthplace of many pilots in our country, in Spain, and this is Sabadell Airport. It's no doubt that Sabadell Airport has seen the birth of thousands of pilots that nowadays are flying nationally and internationally. In my case, I didn't want to wait until I was 18 years old, 20, 21. I wanted to start now, at this moment, as soon as possible. So before I was even 18, at around 16, I started what is now the PPL private pilot course. I got then my private pilot license and have been flying since then as a private pilot up until now, where I'm starting my ATPL training. Having this license has given me the opportunity to fly with many people to many different places. And I'm very proud that I actually got it that way, and I've been flying all these years up till now. I have now decided to continue my pilot training, and it is time to do so. And that's why we are here, and we're starting the series of videos here in Sabadell Airport, but more specifically at EAS Flight School, the European Aviation School. Come with me. In this first episode, we are going to explain the different pathways in order to get your commercial pilot license. There's some of them, and all of them are very interesting. In this series, you'll discover everything about this, and it will be your turn to choose what path you want to take. We are going to focus in the two most popular ways to become a pilot: integrated ATPL and modular ATPL. Integrated ATPL is a fast and efficient way with great advantages for those students who want to obtain the license very quickly and jump into the professional world in a very short time span. Modular ATPL is a bit of a slower route, but extremely interesting. This is the path that I chose many years ago, and it will allow you to train as a pilot with a very interesting extra flexibility, not only in the economic part, but in many other aspects.
I decided to start my career with the integrated course because I thought that is the quickest way and it's basically more complete. You know, it's a complete course.
And I decided to do the integrated course also because I think you go straight forward and everything you have it compressed in just 18 months.
Well, I actually chose to do the modular ATPL. Why? Is because of many factors. First, financial or economic factor. Then because of the jobs I've had, and basically because I love what I'm doing at this moment and I don't want to change it, right?
A favor, ¿qué tiene el curso integrado? Que para mí es la mejor opción. Es un curso más compacto, ya lo dice el nombre, es un curso integrado. Todas las partes del curso, desde lo que es la obtención del comercial, el IR, el multimotor, todo está engranado entre sí, con lo cual se consigue hacer un curso más compacto en el cual se suelen acumular, por ejemplo aquí en EAS se acumulan más horas de vuelo de bimotor, que en definitiva los aviones comerciales son multimotores todos, por lo tanto lo importante no es tener muchas horas de vuelo, sino también cuántas tienes de multimotor. En el caso de EAS, toda parte instrumental se hace con multimotor, eso es un punto importante a favor. Y después todo esto lo que consigue es crear un curso, como decíamos, más compacto y eso acorta los tiempos.
Yo hice el ATPL integrado porque me resultaba más fácil a nivel de logística y demás, de no tener que pensar en mirar otras opciones, me lo daban ya prácticamente todo hecho y porque lo consideré que era una vía como más rápida para hacerlo. Y al final opté por hacerlo integrado. Y tú lo hiciste modular, ¿verdad?
Yo en mi caso decidí hacerlo modular porque en ese momento estaba trabajando, entonces no sabía si por tiempos iba a poder asistir siempre a clase, entonces en mi caso decidí hacerlo modular, así también la parte de las teóricas la pude hacer online y gestionarme todo el tiempo como yo podía, y iba haciendo cada parte pues cuando tenía momentos y tiempo para dedicar.
¿Qué pasa con un modular? Un modular, en principio, hecho en la misma escuela, no tiene por qué tener una diferencia de calidad. En definitiva, los aviones son los mismos, los instructores, perdón, son los mismos, es decir, no hay una diferencia de calidad. Sí que hay una diferencia en el ritmo. Normalmente un curso modular se alarga más que un curso integrado. Pero sí que es cierto que en muchos casos una persona que quiera ser piloto y no disponga inmediatamente del importe que requeriría para hacer un curso por módulos, perdón, un curso integrado, pues puede hacer un curso por módulos. También es verdad que mientras un curso integrado suele tener una estabilidad en cuanto a costes mayor que en un modular, es decir, un curso integrado suele tener un coste que se mantiene durante un tiempo determinado, que es el suficiente para sacar el curso. En el caso de un curso modular, cada módulo funciona como una unidad independiente y por lo tanto cada módulo tiene su precio y esos precios pueden ir variando en función de circunstancias muy diversas y que la mayoría de las veces no tienen que ver con la propia escuela, como son incrementos carburantes, incrementos seguros, tasas aeroportuarias, etc. Entonces, claro, es más difícil saber qué va a costar la operación entera en un curso modular que en un curso integrado, que tiene un precio normalmente cerrado por un tiempo determinado. Entonces, a mucha gente puede ser interesante decir, bueno, pues yo quiero hacerlo, pero no tengo el dinero que me hace falta para hacer un integrado, voy a hacerlo por módulos y voy a abordar desde el punto de vista económico cada fase como un objetivo a conseguir. En este sentido, el modular es muy útil.
The ATPL Airline Transport Pilot License is the license that will allow you to practice as an airline pilot and obtain remuneration working for airlines or private companies, amongst others. It is the highest level license and enables you to fly aircraft of more than 5,700 kilograms or with more than 9 passenger seats. The Frozen ATPL is obtained by completing all the theoretical training of the different teaching phases and passing 14 corresponding EASA exams as well as the different necessary qualifications. Therefore, being in possession of the Frozen ATPL means that the required flight hours have not yet been achieved. How do we unfreeze this ATPL? Well, EASA establishes that 1,500 flight hours must be accumulated under the following minimum criteria. "500 hours flown, whether double command or PIC, 250 hours as PIC, which means pilot in command, 200 hours of cross-country flight, at least 100 of those as PIC, 75 hours of instrument flight, and 100 hours of night BFR or night flight as PAC or co-pilot." Now, let's focus on the two types of ATPL civil training, the most popular ones at least, integrated and modular. Starting off with the integrated ATPL. The requirements to start a course at this level are the following. You must be 18 years of age at the time of taking the exam, you must pass a Class 1 medical examination, and also you must pass an academic training level test or at least have completed all high school programs. At the beginning of the pilot course, the students must pass 3 tests consisting of an English level test, mathematics and physics test, and a personal interview. English is extremely important to be a pilot. Remember, English is #1 language for pilots. The ATPL Integrated Airline Pilot course includes the following. The theoretical phase, which we will explain in detail in episode 3 of this series. It covers the 14 EASA ATPL subjects. The duration of the theoretical course is 9 months. Once the theoretical course has been completed and internal exams of this school have been passed, then the student will be presented to the official exams. Upon completion and once the official exams have been passed, remember, with a minimum 75% score, then students will have accredited the theoretical knowledge corresponding to airline transport pilot. The flight phases are the following. You will be flying 102 hours on a P2002 JF single-engine piston aircraft. You will be flying 53 hours in a P2006T twin-engine piston aircraft. You will be flying 45 hours in a multi-engine piston FMPT2 certified flight simulator. And to finish, you will be flying 40 hours in an Airbus A320 FMPT2 MCC enhanced flight simulator. This leaves the student with a total of 240 flight hours. Remember that now you need your UPRT, which is the upset recovery training. Now let's move on with the actual modular ATPL. Now, this is the part that I have chosen. The training of a commercial pilot can also be carried out in a modular way, in those cases in which the applicants do not have either the full time to carry out an integrated ATPL or are affected by other limiting factors, social factors, economic factors. In these cases, the training begins with the PPL or private pilot license. This lasts approximately 3 months, but you can extend it to 4, 6 or 7 months. And that will be explained in episode 4 of this series. Now, once you finish this license, pilots must carry out a series of flight hours through what we commonly call time building. You will also see this time building in episode number 4, and here is where the cross-country flights take place. It's a really fun process. During this time building or afterwards, you will have to take the BFR night flight course. Now, we'll look at this step in this series in episode 5. Once you have your PPL, your time building and your BFR night, it's time to move on. From here, each new rating requires a series of minimum hours with which you can move on to the next phase. For example, let's put this example if you want to start with your multi-engine course. What do you need? Well, you need 70 flight hours as PIC. Once you have that, you can already take part at the multi-engine course. Great. Once you finish your official theoretical exams and they have been passed again with a 75% and you have the minimum flight hours required, then you can undertake the instrument rating multi-engine piston course. You can also take the CPL course, which is the commercial pilot license, and pass the corresponding flight exams. Again, there are different ways to do it and different ways to actually get there in terms of timing and in terms of economy. That's why it's so flexible and why modular ATPL is so good for many people. The total duration of the training will always depend on the time necessary to pass the theoretical exams and time to complete all the necessary flight hours.
There were two main issues. The first one was the economical one, because as a youngest person, the bank didn't give me the quantity of money that I needed to perform the course. And then the second one was the medical one. At the first attempt it was not good, so I need to repeat it that part of the medical. And then at the second one was good, but initially once I received the results, I was thinking that I was not able to do it, right?
Obviando, digamos, que la persona tiene la capacidad económica para hacerlo, es decir, si la persona tiene la capacidad económica para hacerlo, que eso es otro tema, es la parte teórica. La parte teórica hoy en día es el gran obstáculo. Todas las escuelas de Europa, nosotros tenemos contacto con las agencias que auditan, digamos, a escuelas europeas y todas te dicen lo mismo. El índice de aprobados de las escuelas no es el que desearíamos.
Para mí la parte más dura es primero la económica, porque es algo que tienes que hacer una inversión muy grande al principio. Y por otro lado también en la parte teórica tienes que ser muy constante y te tienes que esforzar mucho y dedicarle muchas horas.
Totalmente, y yo lo recuerdo como una época muy agridulce, porque al final estaba luchando por mi sueño, pero estaba sacrificando tanto y sufriendo tanto para conseguir lo que era, lo recuerdo un poco como trauma, en realidad, porque me cerré muchísimo al mundo, solo me enfoqué a esto porque integrado y yendo a clase, teniendo que volar y yendo a trabajar, me resultó súper difícil. Y
es un poco sacrificado.
Muy sacrificado, mucho.
Ese es un negocio complicado, es un trabajo a nivel emocional, es duro, vives al revés de todo el mundo. Cuando hay barbacoas tú estás trabajando, cuando todo el mundo está trabajando tú tienes libre.
You have to be an airline pilot only if you really want to be a pilot, because it's very challenging. You are away from your loved ones for a long time, so it's a lot of responsibility, it's a lot of tiredness, but the feeling itself when you have this big machine that it's under your controls, and especially in challenging weather, it's unbelievable.
I remember it as a very, very difficult times for me. I was studying a lot. I basically removed all my social interactions with all my friends or my family. I cut everything to zero. I was just going to work, going to class, and then studying. I was waking up every day at 6 in the morning, studying until 8, then going to work from 9 to 3, then to class from 4 to 8, then back home, have dinner, study a bit more, go to sleep, and repeat.
In terms of professional obstacles, there actually hasn't been that many. It's been more on the social side and being able to really recognize what is important in life and not falling into the pitfalls of the industry, which might be to maybe, you know, move to a smaller company for a little bit more money and that going bankrupt. I have a lot of companies or a lot of friends that have had that problem and then ending up having to move between companies over and over again. But since I've stayed in the same airline and it's been a very stable employer, that hasn't happened, fortunately.
Just for an example, my mom, she was like, yeah, why you don't go just to have a walk? And I was like, no, Mom, even if I go walk, I have to take my iPad or something and do some questions because it's just impossible. Like, I had 3 months for 4 subjects and it wasn't enough.
So one of my major obstacles towards becoming a commercial pilot and obtaining all my licenses has actually been the time management. Doing so many things at the same time makes you go slower. It doesn't mean you're going to do it worse or better, it just means it's going to go slower. So that was a major obstacle for me to get my ATPL very quick and in a short period of time.
Okay, if you want to be a pilot, you really have to want to be a pilot because it's a lot of studying. This is the most important thing to know, that a lot of people stop on the way during the exams of the ATPL because they're really difficult and you have to concentrate a lot on the study.
If you come to me and you ask me, what do I need to do in order to become a pilot? There are several different ways of doing this and none of them are wrong, none of them are more right or wrong than the other. It depends on you and your circumstances. So the first thing that I tell everyone is before you pay a single euro for your flight training, make sure that you do some kind of suitability test.
Fíjate, primero yo creo que hablaría contigo hasta de tu vida personal, es decir, tendría que conocerte, hablar contigo, cuál es tu entorno económico, familiar, expectativas en cuanto a la profesión, etc. No es una decisión fácil, sencilla de decir voy a hacer el integrado, voy a hacer el modular. No, hay que estudiar un poco el perfil de cada alumno.
It will be always a super personal choice, and as well due to the personal situation of each student, because each student is a world.
Is it really important for you to do this training quickly, to get into the industry quickly, or can you let it take a while? Because if you want to do it quickly, you go through the integrated way, right? So that is the quickest, most comprehensive way, but it's also going to cost you a lot of money because these integrated training programs are generally fairly expensive. But if that's not available to you, if you can't fork out that amount of money immediately, well then you have the modular route. That's going to, of course, make it, take longer, but you're also going to, you're going to get more life experience and it's not all bad.
Es decir, hay una serie de cualidades que se requieren para ser piloto. Ser reflexivo, ser una persona pues fría, metódica, con un nivel de conocimientos pues mínimo en las 3 materias en las que se soporta la formación de un piloto. Al final es un trípode que es física, matemáticas e idioma inglés.
Más que una habilidad, hoy en día podemos tener pilotos que hacen grandes aproximaciones, perfectas, mejor que un piloto automático, pero luego su actitud no es la óptima, ¿no? Y se descartan, esos pilotos se descartan.
So my suggestion is to, before starting, have some previous knowledge, a bit of background, and then start. And if you can start with 16 years old, is the best.
I would say that regarding my experience and the experience of a lot of people that I've met along the way, I would say probably the most important thing is the school that you're going to choose, because at the end of the day, the license is the same.